Alrighty, what is up, y'all? It is July 28th. So we're in the morning of UFC 304 over in Manchester. And the weigh-ins and the press conference. And they do one each day. That's something that has to be annoying from a fighter perspective. Is like you have to face off with this guy like 4 different times every day for different pictures and different audience. But I was gonna say the press conference and the weigh-ins were really exciting. It's kind of, if anyone's a WWE fan, you know when WWE goes over to the UK, it's just, the crowd is awesome. It's so loud. We're gonna have the same thing tonight. Assuming everyone isn't drunk and passed out, because it's going to be like 4 a.m., 3 a.m. when the main card starts over their time. They're fighting on our time, American time. But I guess I wanted to try to do some predictions. I should have glanced at the card again, because I'll probably miss a fight. But this is not a card I'm going to have a lot of bets on, I don't think, unless I find something today when doing a little more digging. But I feel like I remember most of the main card off the top of my head. And so opening it up, we have Arnold Allen and Giga. And Allen's coming off some losses, if I remember. I want to say Allen's 11-3 in his last 2 fights have been losses. I could have that wrong. I feel like Giga won his last one, but lost one before that. I think this is a great matchup. But as I'm sitting here thinking about it today, and I was thinking about this tonight as I was building up this video, sometimes... So the reason I think it's a great matchup, and all week I've been talking about how this fight's going to be an absolute banger, is because they're both extremely high-level strikers. They're going to stand there and bang. I don't anticipate a takedown from either one unless it's out of necessity, like they get rocked. Or I could see Arnold Allen trying to expand his game and trying to do something like that. I could see that kind of coming out of left field. But I figure for the most part, they're going to stand there and bang. Sometimes when people are that high level, it ends up being a boring fight. Even though they're both high level strikers, it's like they end up kind of stalemating and not a lot happens. I don't know if that's how this one's going to play out or not. I'm wanting to say it was even money on these two. Right now, I'm leaning Arnold Allen. He looks a little more composed. And I mean that in like a very, not in the fighting sense, but like in the personality or whatever. When they're facing off at the face-offs, just the way Giga was holding himself and moving, it wasn't quite like he was talking shit, but he was talking about something, and I couldn't quite hear it. And they still shook hands, and Arnold was like, well, I respect you. I don't know. It just seemed like Arnold was at more peace right now in the moment than Giga was. I know I'm gonna end up missing a fight on this. Like I'm gonna end up forgetting one. I know we got Paddy Pimblett and Bobby Green. If I remember right, they had Bobby as the favorite. Not by a lot, but I feel like they had Bobby as the favorite and Paddy was a minor underdog. I could be wrong. But I know that whatever the odds were, I was like, screw this, I'm going to put a little bit on Paddy. One, being in the UK, I think is going to serve Paddy well for motivation and being in an environment that he's comfortable in and seems to thrive in throughout his amateur career. In addition to that, Bobby does not do good against wrestlers. And although Paddy has been showing his striking or attempting to show his striking in his last couple of fights, his whole claim to fame is from grappling. Like, that dude's a grappler at heart, and he's very, very good at grappling. He's not very good at striking. I could see him trying to stand there and strike for a little bit to try to test his progress, especially with Bobby being shorter. But I figure it's going to end with Paddy doing a takedown. Honestly, rear naked choke. I'm going to say rear naked choke in the second round. Yeah, that's who I'm taking in that. Then we got, I feel like I'm wanting to go to Aspinall and Curtis. I feel like I'm skipping a fight. There might be some girls. I know Molly's not on the main card. She's on the prelims. And she's a heavy favorite too. Very heavy favorite. But, all right, so we got Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blaydes next. I like Aspinall a lot. Freaking 3 to 4 years ago, I mean, in their first and second fights, it's like no one in the world noticed this but me. Tom Aspinall and Tai Tuivasa were on the same, it's like they were on the same card every time they fought. And they were both winning sort of in the same fashion. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I made a post about it. I was like, they're going to fight for the #1 contendership. And that hasn't played out, you know. But Ty got up there while Aspinall was injured. But still, I think that trajectory was kind of on the same path had life gone a little different. But anyways, so Aspinall and Curtis fought before. I felt like when they fought before, like I remember going into that fight thinking Aspinall was going to win. They got out there and started banging quick. I felt like Curtis was, even not a lot happened, guys. I feel like it ended in 25 seconds or something. But even in that moment, I remember feeling like Curtis had a slight edge. But as I've watched Aspinall more, Aspinall always gets hit at the beginning 2 or 3 times. It's like they're trying to find each other or whatever, and it's like he loses the first 1, 2, 3 moments, and then he seems to get it together. So I really want to go with Aspinall, to be honest. Like if I had to place money, I'm probably going to put it on Aspinall. But it will not surprise me one bit at all if Curtis wins in any form or fashion. If Curtis were to go in there and dominate the wrestling, I wouldn't be surprised. If Curtis got in there and outstruck him, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't really want to call it a coin flip because I feel like one of them is going to show a greater ability than the other. Like, I don't think this is going to be a close fight where it comes down to the wire or something, or we could see a judge is giving it either way. I figure one of them is going to pull ahead, but I guess I'm leaning Aspinall. But man, like, what's he doing? Soaking his hands in petrol is what they're calling it, but it's gas. He's putting his hands in gasoline, is what he's saying. Soaking them in it to harden his fists. What the fuck? He says it's the old gypsy method. What the fuck? There's like 1,000 things I want to say about that. No. Just no. No. It doesn't work that way. We're going to move on to our main event. Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. Guys, if you had not watched the first fight, Leon was doing whatever he wanted to Belal. It wasn't gonna be pretty. Belal was gonna get beat up. Belal has never really looked great in a fight. I guess the closest was, did he fight Benny? Was that Belal that fought Benny and kind of surprised everyone? The only chance for Belal is for him to have huge leaps in his grappling, which is possible because he went and trained with those Dagestani boys. If he's taking a huge bound in grappling, I'll give him a chance. Leon is good at grappling though. Like, don't mistake it. Leon is good at wrestling, so he's gonna really have to take a jump in wrestling to beat Leon. I don't see him outstriking Leon. That's just not gonna happen. The one way I could see Leon, he's he's acting different. Like, but I feel like it's gonna work good. Like, I feel like Leon is feeling confident in himself, but it's not at a point where it's negative. It's not like too confident. It's like he knows what he's capable of, and he knows he can beat that guy. And I kind of want Bahal to win because he got poked in the eye and all that, and everyone makes fun of him, and the dude's just out here doing the best he can, and we're all hating on him and saying he's boring and all this, and he tries to embrace it and be funny. And man, I want to cheer for Bahal, but if I was placing money, I'm putting it on Leon. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pause this and make sure that was all the fights.